Today I'm going to be summarising a conversation I had with a client a little while ago. If you've ever been in a job that was really, really hard, and you felt duty bound to put your head down and push through, then this episode is for you. Knowing why mastering your new skill is the key to staying motivated when things get tough. It will also save you months, if not years, of wasted effort, grinding through a job you don't really like because you thought that was what you were meant to do. Let's get started, shall we?
Well, hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the Project Joyful podcast. I'm your host, Tracy, your medical herbalist and high performance coach. So, hey, Project Joyful isn't just about being happy. It's about consciously creating a life you love. It's about remembering how to reconnect with your soul-centered joy. You know, that joy that comes from doing what you love, from living on purpose, and from being in a life that allows you to experience deep joy moment by moment. So, hey, let's get started, shall we?
So I was coaching a client who was having a really hard time at work. He was managing a project and it wasn't going well. It was his first gig as a project manager, so whilst he was a fabulous manager, he didn't yet have the breadth of project experience to make pulling this project out of the mire an intuitive endeavour. He felt like his back was against the wall. When he was in the midst of exploring how difficult everything was, his words, I asked him, "Why did you choose to be a project manager?" He searched and he couldn't recall. Possibly because it was offered, he thought. What will succeeding in this role provide you? He wasn't sure. Knowing he had survived was feeling pretty good. When this project finishes, I asked him, will you take another project to manage? Probably not, he thought. What's stopping you from being sure about these things? I just don't like it, he said. Bingo. So we unpacked that. You see, there's not liking it because it's hard or demanding or taxing, because you're constantly learning, especially when it's new. And let's face it, learning a new skill is hard work. If you've ever watched a little person learning to walk, there's lots of tries. There's a lot of feedback of the seated on your bottom variety as well. But slowly, we work it out. Don't put your weight there, put it there. Balance happens this way, doesn't happen that way. Put that foot all the way down first, don't leave it dangling in the air. It's a lot of trial and error, reflection, recalibration, and then boom, you're walking. For the most part, that's what it's like whenever you learn a new skill. But as we get older, we expect the learning experience to get easier. But if it's a completely new skill, like learning to manage a project, it can be messy. You may need to get feedback, reflect, recalibrate. Most likely it's going to be uncomfortable. And it's at that stage that many people give up. They interpret that resistance as, it's not my thing or it wasn't meant to be. But what if by persisting, by following through, you took those steps? That's why when it's tough at work, you need to know what it's all for. Is it worth going through that discomfort? If it is if being a project manager allows you to experience your values at work, it's worth the discomfort to master your skill. But if being a project manager doesn't fulfill you, it doesn't feed your soul, it's not why you're putting yourself through the pain of learning something new. Knowing what learning and then mastering that new skill means to you on a deeply personal level helps you to understand if going through the experience of learning is worth the uncertainty you experience in that learning. If you know the skill will ultimately bring you joy, use that. And use that knowledge to motivate you through in the tough times. If you realize the cost of mastering that new skill won't bring you closer to living your authentically joyful life, find something else. Something that will fill your soul. We go through life thinking we have time to do all the things we really want to do, but sometimes we don't. What if you decided every breath, every second, every sunrise, every sunset was precious? Would you take a job for the money? Would you stick with it, pretending it was the one, hoping tomorrow will be better? Consider this an invitation to live your best life on your most favoured terms. Make this a life worth living. Sending you lots of love. Bye for now.
Hey, thanks for listening to today's podcast. Can I ask you a favour? If our conversation spoke to you today, could you please take a moment to leave a 5-star review? Your review will help people discover this podcast, and together we can create a world where there's even more love and more laughter. And if you want to hear more from the Project Joyful podcast, just click the subscribe button. Bye for now.